Hi, I'm Connie Taylor. I'm really kind of excited. I'm getting to the end of my student teaching. Who would have thought that 4 months could fly by so quickly? And 2 years for that matter. When I first started this program, I thought, oh my gosh, 2 years. Okay, here we go. But it was pretty good pacing throughout, making sure I did those assignments on Wednesday nights and got those discussion questions in, and I learned a lot. The student teaching portion has been the biggest time for learning. I enjoyed working with my mentor teacher, Amber Burling, and I knew that I would because I knew her fairly well from substituting in her classroom as a paraeducator several years ago. And so I asked if I could please teach under her for in her life skills high school classroom, which is a change of pace from working with the primary students that I've been doing for the last couple of years with math intervention and reading interventions. So it was a change, and I think that's a good thing because I have an opportunity to see what goes on in the high school building and get to know those people and build those relationships. The way I've grown during this is I really understand more so than I did before how encompassing the job of being a teacher is. A paraeducator has opportunity to come in and kind of expand their knowledge in as much as they can have some input into lesson building, but it's not necessarily their responsibility. And as a teacher, it's going to be my responsibility day in, day out to make sure that I am instructing the students in what they need to know in a differentiated way. And that takes a lot of planning. So that's one of the areas I'm going to be working on more and more is planning and scheduling ahead of time so that I'm well prepared for each day and for each week and for each theme and for each quarter and each semester. The other thing I learned a lot is it's not just about lesson planning, it's not just about instruction. My mentor teacher, Amber, is involved in so many aspects of her school. One of her biggest priorities is to make sure that all of her students are treated inclusively throughout the building. And so she does a lot to make sure they're involved in Special Olympics. They have a unified soccer team. She made sure they were all ready and prepared and happy and excited to go to prom, which meant going into our community closet and finding prom dresses and even a suit and tie and shirt for one of our young men. She spent some time helping them with their fingernails and extra special attention to their hygiene so that they were well prepared for the evening. And then she and I both went and accompanied the students there. Some of them are quite able to conduct themselves on their own, but some needed a little help. And we did that. We supervised them and helped them get out on the dance floor, and it was a fun night. In addition to that, she makes sure she gets the kids involved in different groups that are on campus and helps with that facilitation. All of the students in our group in the high school have some inclusive classes. They're going to English, or they're going to math, or they're going to computer class. Some are going to PE courses, weight training, and so there's that collaboration that you need to have with the general education teachers and that communication. And that can be hard sometimes and sometimes very fun. So that's another area that I'll need to work on more and more, just making sure that you're building those relationships with the teachers and so that they have an understanding of how important it is that we reach our IEP goals with these students. Amber does a student-led IEP with her students, and that was interesting. I'm working with Olivia right now to help her get ready for hers. She actually helps fill in the PowerPoint presentation and decides what pictures are going to go in her PowerPoint presentation, and discusses the goals that she had from last year and how she's met some and how she's moving on for her next year's goals. And then she'll present that PowerPoint presentation to her family and to her teachers who will come to the meeting. And that's kind of a new thing for the school district. And so I'm glad to be a part of that. Technology is kind of my wheelhouse. I was a technology specialist for 15 years before becoming a paraeducator. That's when I knew I loved working in public schools. And the Blaine School District is a small district and doesn't have those kind of technology assistant opportunities, but I decided I wanted to stay in schools and became a para and now a teacher. So when I came into the life skills classroom, none of the computers in there had been plugged in or on the internet. One was being used to play DVDs. So that was really my first project. Was I working with the technology specialists, the two of them in the building, um, for the whole district. I luckily had built a relationship with them, and so I talked with them, and they came in, and between the three of us, we got them all connected, all on the internet. all with the applications that we needed and passwords that the students could use. In addition to that, we have Chromebooks in the building, and so I found that we could use the ones in the library, and we often checked those out and brought them down to the classroom so that students had opportunities to build their resumes on there and do some research and learn about our community, and a couple of computer games that I found that I could make them relevant to our topics. So I love technology, and that'll continue to be part of my teaching. I used it myself to teach, designing slideshow presentations and using some templates from Jeopardy and Millionaire, and those were fun. Um, I did have to equip myself with learning how to use the projector in that classroom and the different systems that classroom has, but was able to do that. So again, that will be a continuing area of my teaching. Number 3 is a little bit more of a stumper for me. When I look up Christian worldview, it uh, makes me stop and pause because our school, our district is very inclusive. We have signs on most of the classroom doors that welcome LGBTQ students, making sure everyone knows that they are loved and welcome. We had a staff meeting in regard to that on how we can help learn how to let students say what their preferred pronouns are. So sometimes that seems in conflict with the Christian worldview, but overall, I'm about believing that God is love, and we were going to treat all of our students with love and empathy so that we can help them progress. Many of them come from family situations that aren't like I grew up in, and so I have to understand their stories, keep them confidential, but help build them up as best we can every day in the school classroom. The students' teaching experience has been a wonderful one. I, of course, am uh, that bittersweet uh, feeling that you get because I will miss these kids. I've built some wonderful relationships with the students in the classroom, as well as the 4 paraeducators that I've been working with and my mentor teacher. Wonderful staff, and Amber has done a beautiful job of building a team of teachers that prepare educators that work together, are flexible, and have each other's back, and all have the same kind of philosophy with the students that the teacher does. So that's been a really good thing to see, and I hope to do that as well as she does. She's also built relationships with students, with the co-workers in the building and the administrators, and I've learned from that as well. I'm looking forward, though, to going back to my primary paraeducator position, where I'll be working with my kindergarten, second grade students and helping them finish out the school year strong in their reading and math. So anyway, that's the end of my story. Thank you very much.